Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Sing it out every day. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. We are live from our studios in the Prairie of the Eden. And it is Friday, September 11th, 2020. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Good morning. Grab a cup of coffee. Thanks for being here. Before you grab that coffee, start clapping at home for my good friend filling in for Kendall. It's our friend Shane. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Are you used to the song yet? Because when the show kicks off, I have that 1 minute of, oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. It still gets me. Everyone knows.
Okay.
I'm a nerd. This stuff makes me happy. Every day when it plays, I get very excited because, like I said on Tuesday, I really do think, and I was watching a little bit, I really do think of like teenage 20-something Jason watching the Oprah Winfrey Show premieres when she would do a new theme song. And I just dreamed, I always dreamed of having a show, but in the teenage years, I'm like, okay, one day I'm going to have a show and I'll have my own theme song. So it takes me back to those moments because I didn't care about the topic of the Oprah Winfrey Show. I just wanted a new theme song. Oh, look, it's Patti LaBelle. Oh, look, Paul Simon wrote a song for her. Because
she never got Yam House.
She never got Yam House, no.
They might not have been alive.
She may have gotten Quincy Jones. No, they weren't alive when Oprah, yeah. You know, she did get Quincy Jones, Patti LaBelle, and then Paul Simon, and then herself.
What was your favorite?
Good question.
I'm digressing.
I'm Every Woman.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other
That's a
one
good
was Run On. That was written for her, and she sang herself. Big mistake. She even admitted. That theme song, when she sang it herself, huge mistake. And she made a music video. I'm like, Oprah, you can do a lot of things. Sing is not one of the things you can do. So, how you doing?
I'm great.
Any big weekend plans this weekend? Any fall festivities, anything?
No.
No, okay.
You, Jason, we never have plans anymore. It's so
Yeah.
odd. We roll into the weekend like, what are we going to do?
I know.
don't know.
Because the weekends are just basically like weekdays because you can't do much.
Right. So we'll go to a park, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, it's my anniversary on Sunday.
Happy anniversary.
So it's 6 years, which seems, thank you, everybody, 6 years. We have reservations tonight. I think we're going up to the cabin, so I'll have a fish fry at Pine Brook. You know, it's the typical. Safe, though. Don't worry. I wear a mask and all that
Will
stuff.
you be cutting into an armadillo cake?
No. We haven't had one of those since the wedding, but...
I think it's about time.
I know. I should have an anniversary. I had an armadillo cake for our wedding reception. It was an homage to Steel Magnolias, and it was literally about that big. We showed a picture of it before. I'll
never forget. That's why I always bring it up.
Oh, it freaked out every guest at our wedding because they rolled it out. They rolled it out on this cart, and it was. I'm not kidding. About this big.
It's a large creature.
And I tell the story every time we mention it. It's my favorite story because the lady that kind of took care of us. She was our. We had the hotel. We had the wedding at the Lowe's in downtown Minneapolis, and kind of our caretaker assigned to us was this wonderful woman. And whose family watched the first couple seasons of our show. And she came up, a little woman, very small. I just loved her. She was cute. I just wanted to put her on a shelf. And she came up to me at the end of the night after everyone was gone. You know, the wedding was over. And in our holding room, you know, the room where the attendants go and all that stuff, I'm walking around just kind of surveying the end of the night. And she comes up to me and she goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Matheson?" And I go, "Yeah, sweetheart." And she goes, "What would you like me to do with the armadillo?" And I just laughed at her because I looked at her and I go, that question will never be asked of me again. And I'm going to savor this moment. And I went in there and what she had meant was the cake was kind of gutted out. So it looked like, as I said in Steel Magnolias, an autopsy. I mean, because it was a blood red cake. So it was a gutted out. There was the butt and then the head left. Oh, wait, no, I cut the butt and gave it to my father-in-law because that's what they did in Steel Magnolias. So I did that, gave it to Carl. But yeah, so she was so cute. She passed away a couple years ago, and we did a nice little tribute here on her show because she made my wedding. I mean, she was just so kind, and her daughter wrote a really nice letter. But yeah, I always think that, what would you like me to do with the armadillo? Just cut it up and let's serve it for breakfast. Speaking of serving up, it's time for the hot dish. Here we go, everybody. Okay, let's get started. There were questions about whether we'd get new episodes of SNL before the election. Well, now we have an answer. Look. There it is. Well,
That's not a lot there.
it took about 4 minutes to edit. Right there, yeah. Way to go, NBC. SNL confirming on Twitter they will return to Studio 8H for their 46th season starting October 3rd. It will be the show's first live broadcast since March 7th when production shut down and Earth shut down. Cast members are still working out their contracts, but according to Page 6, it appears that Pete Davidson will be back. Now, you may remember back in February, he was saying it was time to go, saying the cast makes fun of him when he's not there. Very much like this show. And me. Yeah, Jeff makes fun.
Hello,
wait, no,
comedy.
he makes fun of me when I'm here. But anyway, okay, I'm going to just be blunt, but it's just the way that I feel. Pete Davidson, and I liked him in his movie, The King of Staten Island. That was good. But in SNL, he's kind of a non-entity to me. He makes the occasional appearance in Weekend Update, and then he's like a unicorn. You never see him again. So I don't know why it's a big deal whether he's there or not. You know?
The fact that that was the name that they put out there, I'm the same thing, like the air let out. Poof.
Yeah.
Oh, him.
Him,
He's
yeah.
really only like extra famous because of Ariana Grande Latte.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, I'm with you though. He didn't really have many contributions
No.
this last
And
year.
again, he is funny. Proof, I was shocked. I said this to Judd Apatow, the director. When I watched King, he was great in that. He should do that. SNL, I don't think they know what to do with him. And I don't think he knows what to do with SNL. And maybe it is because he doesn't have chemistry with the cast, but I don't know. And whether you look, everyone's sick of politics already, and people don't like, judging by our Ellen Facebook post, people really don't like politics mixed with their entertainment. Having said all of that, SNL is at its best in election years. You know what I mean? Whether you're on the side or not. I mean, you think of Chevy Chase making fun of Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter, and you think of Will Ferrell making fun of George W.
Tina
or
Fey.
Daryl Hammond making fun of Bubba, making fun of Bill Clinton. One of the best skits ever is Phil Hartman as President Clinton in the early days. Billy Boy admitted he loved McDonald's, and Phil Hartman did the skit where he's jogging and he stops by a McDonald's, and if you guys get a chance, it's the best skit. And then Tina, like you said, Tina Fey is Sarah Palin.
But yeah, it doesn't matter what side you're on.
No.
They just do such great impressions,
Yes.
and it's so fun. Clearly, it's a mockery, but in a fun way
Yeah.
of both sides.
Next in the dish, Sydney is back. I'm so excited for this. Nev Campbell posted a little something for her fans on Instagram yesterday. This is very much like the SNL tease. Blink and you'll miss it. Hello, Sydney. Remember me? This is a little tease confirming she will return for the continuation of the Scream franchise, Scream 5. She captioned it, #I'm back. Now, a lot of you know she played Sidney Prescott in the first 4 Scream films. Courtney Cox and David Arquette, I hope Courtney will have those half bangs, will also be back. Scream 5 will hit theaters, and this is what cracks me up. They teased it. It won't be in theaters until January of 2022.
Why wouldn't they do next Halloween? Like next October? Move it
Or
up just a few
how about
months.
this? How about don't tease something 2 years down the line? I mean, we're not going to remember. You don't even know what you're doing this weekend, let alone
This is true.
2022. No, look, I'm making fun of it, but I have a soft spot for this franchise. It came out when I was in my early 20s. I loved it. I love horror movies. I think this was so smart. Kevin Williamson, who created The Creek, Dawson's Creek, did this with Wes Craven. Who could forget Drew Barrymore?
Yes.
In the first one.
Yes.
Did you like this movie?
Loved it. I was in
good.
high
Oh,
school.
good.
It was like the perfect high school movie franchise to have under your belt.
And you know why? And I think you'll agree with me because it was the first horror movie that was a horror comedy combo basket.
Trendy.
It was, yeah.
Had all the cool people.
And
Yeah,
it was scary,
so good.
but yet funny and laughed at
Yep.
itself, didn't take itself. It turned the genre of horror upside down, and it was cool. I mean, it was awesome. And again, and it also gave us Courtney Cox's half bangs. Yeah.
Reporter.
Remember that?
Gail, was that her name?
Gail Weathers. Yeah.
Gail Weathers. Of
Gail
course.
Weathers. Did you ever have the half bang? That was the late 90s. You did?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I regret that.
It was one
not
of the
good.
most tragic fashion things of the late 90s. Yeah.
Agreed.
Next in the dish, we're just a few days away from the premiere episode of the revamped Dancing with the Semi-Stars. Tyra Banks was on the retooled GMA3.
The what?
Okay. Anyway, she was on the show yesterday and talked about what she'll be wearing. Look at this.
Well, for the first episode, I did a fitting yesterday, and the dress needs 3 people to carry it.
Whoa.
And yes, and I did the fitting in my garage, I couldn't even walk in it yet, so I haven't even tested how to walk in it. So it's live TV. It's gonna be scary. It's humongous. It is like so over the top amazing. It's like the Met Ball meets Dancing with the Stars. So the outfits are gonna be serious. They're gonna be huge walkouts, huge, like big, show, pop, 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 and then I'm gonna turn it over to those stars and those judges. But.
I love it. I love it. Another thing to look forward to.
It's called Dancing with the Stars, not Dancing with Tyra, but okay. I say that with a little bit of snark. I am going to give her I'm going to give her a hard time. Freudian slip. I am going to give her a chance because when you take over a show like this, it is hard. You know what I mean? I want to give her a shot because I do enjoy her. But I have a feeling it's going to be very Tyra-centric.
Sounds like she's already making it all about her. And I think the key when you're a host is to make the people, like shine.
Yeah,
that you're talking to and featuring.
Yeah, it's again one of the many things you learn from Johnny Carson. Any good you try to make the guests shine. You put them in the best light. I hope ABC doesn't make it very. I hope they don't make it all about Tyra. It's really about the contestants. Then the judges, then the host. Really on a show like that.
And they hired her, and she is very Tyra-centric. I'm a fan of hers, but she is very me.
Yeah. Well, executive producer Jeff said, talk to anybody that worked with her on America's Top Model, and they will say the same.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to bust on her. I'm a fan. I'm just being realistic. As a fan of Dancing with the Semi-Stars, I want to make sure the focus remains on the contestants where it should be. It's called Dancing with the Semi-Stars. And by the way, good luck to our buddy Alan Burston, who returns this season as a professional. We will be rooting you on, my friend. The new season begins on the Alphabet Network on Monday night. Dear friends, we have a lot more to come, so grab another cup of coffee, and we will be back right after this.
The party continues next.
What's up?
What do you get when you mix a raccoon, lunch meat, and the ultimate stare down? One hilarious true story. Then, what is life really like for some women in the restaurant industry? The truth is served up in a new, fascinating documentary, and a local chef featured joins us with an inside look.
Yeah, I think those are those stags, Ted? Look at that.
And it became a fave during our at-home shows. It's time for another Staff Show and Tell. Go get another cup of coffee, my friends, because that is coming up.
If it's a boy, would you go with another Usher?
No, you know what? To be perfectly honest, I'm a bit, trying to figure out which way to go. I got a few names in line, but maybe you can help me. You know what I'm saying? Give me some suggestions or something, man.
Well, I feel like because one of your boys is called Usher.
Yeah.
What's the other boy called?
Naveed.
Naveed,
Eli. Mm-hmm.
Usher. I think you go Dave. Honestly, but not David, Dave. Dave Raymond.
Dave?
I honestly think Dave Raymond, he can get you stuff. Do you know what I mean? Dave Raymond knows a guy who knows a guy. He can sort you out.
Dave.
So if you had Naveed, Usher the Fifth, and Dave.
Okay, give me another one. Give me...
I can't really. I'm so set on Dave. All right, guys. Dave Raymond. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be over there. Help me out.
All we can think of watching that clip. Welcome back, everybody. Usher hasn't aged a day.
Nope. I was dancing to his songs in the clubs when I was like 20, and he looked just like that.
Meanwhile, I'm laying on a table getting Crisco injected into my face, to try to remain young.
How'd that go?
It went fine.
Great.
But welcome back. James offering up new baby names for Usher. Usher is James's first in-studio guest since the pandemic began. I do. I like James's shelf. It reminds me of our little shelf over there. Well, next in the dish, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion just got a lot more interesting. Filming is underway for the new HBO Max special. Will Smith posted this picture. Look at this, everyone. With the cast, and that's Ashley, Hillary, Jeffrey, Aunt Viv, and the second that's actually the second Aunt Viv. Let me be clear. Jazz and Carlton. Uncle Phil died in 2013, but it was the second picture that Will Smith posted that has everyone talking. Look at this. That is him with Janet Hubert. AKA the original Aunt Viv. The two did not get along back in the day, and that was why she was actually fired. No one thought she would return for the special. The reunion is expected to debut on HBO Max around Thanksgiving. This was a huge scandal, and not a lot of people remember it unless you were like a big fan of Will or the show. It was controversial, and Aunt Viv did not hold back. I mean, she spoke publicly about her dislike of Will Smith when Will Smith was like on top of the world. So that is forgiveness, and that is coming together. I'm glad to see that.
Are you excited? Do you want to watch all these reunions? Do you want them to happen? Or does it feel like throwaway TV?
Well, admittedly, I love Will Smith, except for Wild Wild West. I love Will Smith, but I was not. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air missed me. My buddy Alexis, it's one of her favorite shows, but
I watched it too.
It missed me. But I will watch this just because I love a good reunion. I love a good pop culture reunion, and I love those folks. So
well, now there's some drama brewing. You don't know what's going on there in that conversation.
Well, you know, it reminds me of like back in the day, Three's Company. Suzanne Summers and Janet hated each other.
Oh, really?
And Suzanne Summers has an infomercial where she sells like butt implants or something. And they reunited. Janet and Chrissy reunited for the first time since Suzanne Summers was fired from Three's Company. It was fascinating. Because, yes, they forgave each other, but you could tell there was still some lingering issues between the two ladies.
It takes a while to let go of something like that, if you ever do.
Well, and I got to tell you, just a little side note, Suzanne Summers, say what you will about her, she was way ahead of her time. She asked to be paid what John Ritter was paid during Three's Company. So she was talking about pay equality way before anyone else, and people thought she was insane. And she was like, wait a minute, John Ritter is getting paid this amount of money, and myself and Janet are getting paid. No. Because Suzanne Summers was on the cover of every single magazine. She was the breakout hit of that show, and she was getting paid triple less than what John Ritter was getting paid.
Yeah, she's definitely the face I think of when you say Three's Company.
Oh.
I think of her.
Yeah. No offense to the late, great John Ritter. A comic genius, but still. Next in the dish, we're getting our first look at the science fiction movie Dune. You know, I always try to do stuff for my fellow nerds. It's based on the 1965 novel and follows the 1984 film done by David Lynch and Kyle MacLachlan. Take a look at the trailer.
There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
What did you see?
There's a crusade coming.
Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Yes.
The test is simple. Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
What's in the box?
Pain.
What's in the box? It's Gwyneth Paltrow. The movie stars Timothée Chalamet, Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, and Zendaya. So, you know, just a few A-listers. It's going to hit theaters in December. If you're not a sci-fi fan and you're wondering what's the big deal, this is huge with the youngins. This is huge with sci-fi fans because this has been rumored for decades that they were going to do a remake of this movie. And you know, the teens, they love the Timothée Chalamet.
Sure do.
They love him.
I couldn't tell from that trailer, though, what this is about.
Okay.
I think there's some aliens.
So my buddy Don McLean tried explaining it to me on the radio show, and I just went, didn't understand anything. I didn't understand what she said. It is very layered. Okay. All I know is there's a giant earthworm in it. There's a giant there's a giant sandworm that comes out. And I don't know if it talks or tells fortunes or something, but there's a giant sandworm, and that's all I know about it.
And now I'm interested.
Now I'm interested. I don't know. Wouldn't that be funny if it was a sandworm that told fortunes?
Yes.
Yeah. Friends. Anyway, next in the dish. It's been 8 years since Ann Curry was ousted from the Today Show, and the journalist hasn't quite moved on. Still, in a recent interview with Elle, Ann says being replaced on the Today Show still hurts deeply. Even after all these years, she says she doesn't understand why she was let go. She had conversations with management about Matt Lauer's alleged inappropriate behavior, and there was some speculation that management got rid of her to protect him. She doesn't know, though, if that's really the case. She says she has no regrets over how she handled herself and is proud of the work on the Today Show. This is, I'm going to be very careful because it's the weekend, and while I'm eating the fish fry, I really don't want hate mail. But here, let's put Matt and the Murvy-Pervy allegations to the side, okay? Let's be clear. I want you to make sure you hear me. If that is the case, if they got rid of her to protect him, that is disgusting. I want to be very clear about that. Okay, now let's just look at it through a pure morning television lens. I have to be honest with y'all. Morning TV is all about chemistry of the anchors. It really is. It's really not about news value. It's not. It's about, do you want to wake up to these 3-4 people? Do they seem like family to you? That's the harsh truth. I watched the Today Show. My mom's watching right now. I grew up, my mom was a Katie and Matt girl. So I watched the Today Show because I loved Katie, Matt, Ann, and Al. They seemed like they got along. I am sorry. I think Ann Curry's a great journalist, but I have to agree with the management in this. There wasn't great chemistry between her and Matt Lauer. There wasn't. She is a great journalist. I just don't think she was a great morning host. I have said it on this show a lot of times. That is one of the toughest gigs in broadcast television because at 1 minute you have to interview Benjamin Netanyahu, and then 5 minutes later you have to make a souffle with Martha Stewart. And you have to be good at both, and sometimes was a little stiff in the fluffy stuff. You know, and please don't hate on me. I love Ann. Ann was on her show. I think she is one of the most missed journalists of this time. I think it's scandalous that a network hasn't picked her up. But I'm sorry, I don't think she was a good fit as the co-anchor of the Today Show.
You're right, too. And morning and evening personalities are
Yes.
very different. I think she didn't have as much the warm, fuzzy morning, and I think she would have been great on a later program.
Yeah.
And yeah, great journalist. But yeah, you're right. They're always watching the numbers. They're always asking people, do you like these people? Do they fit? If it doesn't work, you got to go. You got to move on.
And it's harsh, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's harsh,
No,
but it is a business, and especially for NBC, the Today Show prints money. It was the biggest moneymaker for that network, and the Today Show ratings started to dip when Ann and Matt got together. Is that Ann's fault entirely? No, but if you're a boss looking at that, you gotta examine it. But yeah, anyway. Next up, the story that has all of us laughing this morning. A woman in Florida's encounter with a raccoon that got inside her house. You have to come back to the TV to look at this. Paula Tyler from Tampa walked into her house and knew something wasn't right. That's when she turned the corner. Oh my goodness. She turned the corner and saw the raccoon staring back at her.
It just like looked at me. It didn't do anything. It just looked at me.
Okay. It just looked at me. Paula thought, here's her video. Look at this video, everybody. Paula thought she could get rid of the critter on her own, but when she approached it, the raccoon started running through her house. So she called 911. Officers showed up with brooms and managed to get it back outside. Now, here's the deal. You think the story is over, but it is not. The reason Paula wasn't too freaked out by the raccoon is because she had a pet raccoon growing up in my home state of Indiana. Look at that.
Did that change the way you approach this situation at all?
Probably, because I went up to it, talking to it with a piece of lunch meat, and it's like trying to get it off the curtain.
I'm surprised that didn't work.
That's my Indiana right there. That's my girl. I love her. That would be my mom. I'm not kidding you. My mom would go up to it with some lunch meat. Want some salami?
Some bologna?
She loves the animals, yeah. But that's my favorite line. I walked in today and Jeff goes, I have to tell you the story. There's a woman, an intimate moment, and lunch meat. And that was in a raccoon, yeah. So not an intimate moment, let's be clear.
Well, they did stare into each other's eyes
They
for
did
a
have a
while.
moment,
She
that's
offered
right.
him a meal.
I just looked at him and offered him some lunch meat. Still ahead, Jeff, Ted, and Shane are back for some staff show and tell, but next. We're chatting with a local chef featured in a Hulu documentary about women chefs. It is fascinating what some women have to go through in restaurants. We'll talk to her when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. When we were talking about the critter story, first of all, people on Facebook are loving Jeff's story. It is pretty funny. But I always think about, and I know the Jason Show fan club will remember this, whenever I think of critter encounters, there's two legendary stories that I've told on the radio show and I've told on this show before. But we all need to smile because it is Friday, so I'll tell you quickly both of them. And the first one involves my dear darling Alexis Thompson, who is my radio co-host and dear friend on My Talk 1071. This was about 4 or 5 years ago, actually probably a little bit more, because it was at a time when I was actually doing the radio show from the studios with her. We were face to face. So this was before the Jason Show. And I was in the studio, and if you know anything about radio studios, you know that they are soundproof, allegedly. So we were in the studio, and we were in a commercial break, and Alexis went to use the facilities. And all of a sudden, as I remained in the radio studio, I heard Alexis screaming like I have never heard her scream before. And she comes running into the studio, and I'm like, what is happening? Come to find out, Alexis walked into the restroom, and on the toilet seat was a giant, wet rat standing on its two legs, standing up. And thank you, Shane. Standing on its legs. And what made me think of the story is Alexis, in telling the story as only Alexis can, she looks at me and she goes, Jace, I went in and I opened the door to the toilet and there's the rat. And we stared at each other and had a moment. And I said, you had a moment with the wet rat? And she goes, yes. And then the rat jumped off the toilet and started running out of the bathroom and was running down the hallway like a little sea biscuit, and then never heard from again. The second story, to make you laugh, and I won't name her, but I have a dear, dear friend who always provides me the best stories. She was living in a rented house, and like a lot of us, she woke up in the middle of the night one night, and she goes into the restroom, and I don't know why all these animal encounter stories happen at a restroom, but she goes in there, and she's, you know, whatever, and all of a sudden, a bat flies up from the toilet. Flies up. The baby bat had been sleeping on the lip of the toilet. Just imagine what you would do. I'm telling you. Yeah. There's a new documentary on Hulu that goes inside restaurant kitchens with 3 female chefs, including one from the Twin Cities. It's called A Woman's Place. Here's a little clip from the trailer.
My experience is being more like a pirate ship. It's like there aren't any rules. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of conflict. It's more rough in the back.
At the very beginning, I was the only girl in the kitchen. Like, they didn't teach that in culinary school.
You can imagine the culture shock. People with foul mouths and like kicking chairs over and things like that.
If you can make hot food, it goes out on time, and it's plated perfectly, like everybody kind of looks the other way. I'd been so fed up with how much I'd had to deal with in restaurants that I was just done. I had enough.
That's A Woman's Place, and it's streaming now on Hulu and features our next guest. Please welcome to the show, Chef Karyn Tomlinson. Hi, Chef.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great. You know, I'm really glad that this documentary is being done. Full disclosure, I know I have a lot of people in my life that's in the restaurant business. I am in it, and I know what it can be like. It's a very casual environment. And I know I've seen the struggle with my female friends in it. What made you want to take part? What prompted you to want to do this or take part in it?
Well, to be quite honest, I had no idea even really what I was getting into when I first got the call from them.
Yeah.
But as I found out about it, I think there are 2 things that made me excited to be a part of this project. One is, yes, it's a very real thing. It's kind of bringing my sensibilities as a woman with my own personality into a very, an industry that doesn't necessarily jive with those characteristics traditionally. There have been a lot of challenges for me. That's absolutely true. But another thing I appreciated about the people making this documentary was that they wanted to present a little bit of a more nuanced view, where they didn't portray women as just only like as victims, you know. Yeah. Huge chips against, I mean, I support strong men in the industry, men who treat themselves with, you know, hold themselves with professionalism and all that. I love working with men. So I appreciated that it wasn't sort of an either or kind of documentary, putting someone down. So I really appreciated the perspective that they had, even just in our interviews leading up to it. But yeah, I think it's an important thing to talk about.
I do too, because Chef, don't you think this is something that I don't think the average restaurant goer thinks about or knows about? And there's one statistic that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. Let me get this right. 51% of culinary students are women, but only 7% go on to become head chefs and restaurateurs. Chef, this is a bigger answer in a talk show segment, but what needs to fundamentally change to change those numbers?
Right. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot that goes into that. That can be very complex. But I would say that sort of embracing different styles of leadership in a kitchen, embracing different kinds of, here it's the hospitality industry, yet traditionally the people who can survive in that are those who work the hardest and can kind of be the toughest. And I'm not advocating, I think that we as women should be tough in kitchens too, but I think that sometimes wrapped up in all of that is a lot of ego.
Yes.
And so I think that, when you think about what hospitality is, that also should involve a lot of sense of nurture.
Yep.
And cultivation, development, and those come through not just in the final product of bringing food to tables, but in the way that you lead a staff. And I think that those are things that women really can bring to the table in a unique way.
Absolutely.
All women are the same, not by any means, but I think that we just need to embrace a diversity of giftings that it takes to lead a kitchen.
Well, I appreciate your voice in this, and I appreciate that this was done. I think this is going to be a catalyst for education for a lot of people. Continued success.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chef. A Woman's Place is available on Hulu. And to find Karyn on Instagram, to search for Karyn Tomlinson. And we're blessed here in the Twin Cities. We have a lot of amazing female restaurateurs like our friend Ann Kim. Still ahead, everybody. It's show and tell time right after this. Oh, look at our vintage shelf there. Those are custom Converses made in celebration of the debut of our show 5 years ago. Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday, and we're ready to have some fun. It's time again for the Jason Show staff show and tell. Now, this is when we reveal something funny or embarrassing or just plain weird that we have in our home or maybe here at the station in a drawer. Joining me now are Shane, executive producer Jeff Orcutt, and producer Ted Johnson. Good morning, stars. Good morning.
Hello.
This is, let's just acknowledge, this is our first 4-box, our first Hollywood Squares with the new look. Look at this. Ted, the lighting in your studio is beautiful, Ted. You've never looked better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was Jeff there too? Jeff, you look good too. Yeah. Now, we'll get to Jeff and Ted a little bit later, but ladies first. We will begin with Shane, who's filling in for Kendall today. Shane, show us and tell us.
Okay, so this arrived, kind of a surprise. Ryan's mom, my husband's mom, finds some really odd things online. So this dinosaur came to our house, and it just said it did dinosaur noises and then it moved. So we were like, okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it on. Oh, hold on. It never mentions.
I don't remember the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park making that noise, but okay.
Do you remember them doing this? Do you hear that?
It's like
Is that a machine
gun?
I think so.
Oh, it's turning.
Hold on. Let's get some hip hop.
What is this?
Oh, yes.
No way!
Yes.
Yes! T-Rex arms!
Every time it does that, we look at our phones.
What?
Everyone at home is looking at their phone
This
right now, too.
is perhaps the best gift. Look at that.
I don't really know how to use this, to be honest. It also sprays if you want it to spit at you, but we don't.
Spray.
What does it spit?
You have to fill it with water.
Venom?
We opted not to do that.
Oh. What is that? Is that
I don't know.
Is that Mozart?
I have no idea.
Is that the Celine Dion button?
Oh my God, it's Celine's Vegas show coming out of the T-Rex.
So if that's not the most obnoxious toy, and it doesn't stop until you physically hit the switch on the
What
bottom.
is the point of that?
Jason, this thing was full of surprises. Every time our kid hits a button, we're like, what's gonna happen now?
Okay, obviously, do we know what it's called? Because people are gonna want it. Do we know the brand or
Are you
anything?
sure you want it?
No. Look at it.
Chinese made, but then there's some German on here as well.
There's German on the remote control?
Yeah, let's see what the German button does. Hold on.
It speaks German?
Later.
Guten Tag.
Oh. Oh my.
What? That's the score from Yentl, everyone.
That is the German song button.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, we're just getting started. You may have won. The crew is saying you may have won today's show and tell. Yeah. Okay, let me do mine. Ted, how much time do we have? You still got to produce the show.
Not much. Let's take a break and then we'll do them all.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I ate up all your time.
Wow, Shane,
Should I play us out?
Play us out, Shane.
Forget Mouse.
There we go.
Okay.
More show and tell. More show and tell fun after the break. Jeff, Ted, and I are revealing something from our past. Coming up next.
Broken.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day.
Welcome back, everyone. There is Shane's frightening, very sketchy dinosaur that we just found out during the break has a camera in it, so we now know the Chinese government is spying on the Jason show from that dinosaur. Yeah.
Here's the problem. I can't stop him from. I gotta go.
Oh, yeah, you
I have
gotta.
to
Shane's gonna
physically-
walk right in my shot. There she is, everybody.
Okay.
Shane, get your sketchy dinosaur, okay?
He's gonna keep going the whole time. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you better turn that
He's
off.
off.
The
He's
FCC
done.
is going to shut us down. Welcome back. We're doing some more staff show and tell, but again, I don't know how. I think Jeff's will win it all. But next, let me get mine. This is don't put it up yet, Leo. This is a throwback photo that will probably get me in trouble, but it's so cute, I don't care. Our boss, I reference her sometimes, our boss, Mim, has been my boss since 1997. She hired me fresh from Red Lobster in 1997 at WCCO because I made her laugh. I call her Grace, and so Grace and I have been together for 23 years. She always jokes that she'll be my boss even in the retirement home. Look at this photo. This is the two of us
Oh my
in
goodness.
1998. Look at that.
Wow.
My hair is exactly the same.
Wait, Jason, can we zoom in?
I don't think we can zoom in. Leo doesn't have that.
Oh,
I hate you.
Yes.
What's going on?
I hate you. Why did you do that?
What is that?
Way to ruin a nice moment.
That is a late 90s bracelet that I thought was cool. Oh my, I hate you, Jeff. That is horrible. Oh my goodness. But Mim doesn't look, we both look like we're 11. Mim hasn't aged a bit, but yeah, that's in the newsroom. I was a baby.
You need to do a now.
Oh, we should recreate, well, we
Yeah.
can't touch each other now with the coronavirus.
That's true.
But yeah,
Some
Mim
Photoshop.
literally comes into work in a NASA suit like she's taking ET. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's go to Ted next.
All right, well, this is my journal from 6th grade. Every day for English class, we had to write in this journal. I found it at my house, and I only wrote about two things: the Packers or the Badgers. So
things don't change.
Let me give me a moment.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do we have any music?
It is so this is November 18th, 1996. The Green Bay Packers played the Dallas Cowgirls on Monday Night Football. The Packers are banged up with Antonio Freeman, who is hurt or was coming back to the game in a week or so. Mark Chmura out for 4 weeks. The Cowgirls are playing at home, and they've won there the last billion times against the Pack. The next entry.
Yeah, give us the next entry. I have some piano music for you.
The Green Bay Packers lost to the Dallas Cowgirls 21-6.
Oh. Now it's emotional.
You have one more entry. Come on, Ted. One more entry.
Let's see what the next day is.
He was laughing all morning reading
Okay.
these.
So this is November 20th. The Wisconsin Badgers lost to Iowa Hawkeyes 31-0. Nothing was going right for the Wisconsin Badgers. Ron Dane didn't get past 100 yards. He only had 63 yards. They have to win.
Okay, we're done, Ted. That's good. That's enough. That's enough, yeah. Anyway, okay. Last but not least, our center square, it's Jeff. What do we have?
Okay, Ted took you back to 6th grade. I'm going to take you to 7th grade.
Wow.
I was cleaning and I found this.
What
My 1986-87 super secret book. Okay, now Leo, don't go to the next page yet. Come back to me.
Okay.
Because inside there's a page and it says, my favorite TV shows. Mine are Family Ties, Different Strokes, and The Cosby Show. My least favorite are Dynasty, Dallas, and Falcon Crest.
Oh. Those are fighting words.
I had no idea until I found this that I hated them back in the day. Sorry, Jason.
How do you come back from this?
I don't know what to do.
He can't speak. That's the
How
first
dare
time
you,
that's
Jeff.
ever happened.
Is Twin Cities Live hiring? I mean, can I just... Oh, my...
But I actually did kind of like them.
I was gonna say you kind of like, and you lied in that book. Another time, you listed Whitney Houston as your least favorite singer.
Whoa!
Wait, Corey Hart was my favorite. Remember him?
Yeah.
Nope.
He wore his sunglasses at night.
Oh,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
Okay. There we have to wrap, right, Ted?
Yeah, way to spin that, Jeff.
Yeah, that was great. Jeff, you rarely disappoint me. I'm horribly disappointed. If you have a cool show and tell, maybe a weird collection, something that you have in your attic, don't forget, you can take a picture of it and share it with us. And it could end up right here on the show. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. How dare Jeff? Look at that dinosaur. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading all the comments that says Jeff should be fired. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Phil Jones. Oh, Phil Jones on the Jason Show fan club page. Jeff wins. Dallas is horrible. Yeah, great. Hey, other people, Jeff should be fired. Jeff should be fired. How dare Jeff? I know. The outrage is palpable. It really is. You can stay connected with our show on social media. Here's how to do it. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All you have to do is search Jason Show TV. And like I said, if you have a cool show and tell, go ahead and email us a picture. It could end up right here on the show. Or if you have a question, you could end up in a mailbag segment. Keep those comments about Jeff coming. We'll be right back. Stay with us, everyone. Poor Jeff. Welcome back. Jeff's getting some support online. I don't really like that, but anyway. Someone wrote, Jeff's sweater has won the day today. Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, well, there we go. What? What? What do I call it? Oh, I call it the fruit stripe. I walked in this morning, I go, good morning,
gum?
fruit stripe gum. Yeah. We love
You
each
guys
other.
literally, it takes 2 seconds before you start needling each other
Yeah.
every day.
Uh-huh,
There's like
right?
this little moment of like, oh, they're gonna be, nope.
Nope. We're like brothers. We've known each other since the year 2000. It's like he knows everything I'm going to say, and I know what he's going to say. Hey, I wanted to tell you, too, we found out, I know a lot of people are wondering where our rebroadcast has gone on our sister station, Fox 9 Plus. Here's the deal. Starting September 21st, The Jason Show will be on at noon. On Fox 9 Plus. Not at 3 anymore. It'll be on at noon. So readjust your DVRs or your VCRs or your Betamax players or whatever you're using noon on September 21st on Fox 9 Plus. I know we got a lot of messages and we apologize. When we found out, we told you. So there we go. It's going to be fun. It'll be a nice little lunch. Eat your lunch with us. That's why.
It's actually genius.
Yeah.
People are home eating their lunch.
Have your burrito bowl from the Chipotle and eat lunch with us. So, hey, as we round up this week again, one more time, I just want to say thanks to everybody. This has been a tough week for my family, and I really appreciate all the love. We're still getting cards from my mom. She's watching right now. I know she would want me to tell you thank you. And when she feels up to it, we'll have her on the show. Monday, Stephanie Hansen, live from her van.
Come again?
Why haven't we won an Emmy? Go out there and be yourself. Nobody can tell you're doing it wrong. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Monday.
Cheers, good Wi-Fi.
Let's go.